So question. Oh, wow, great, thank you. Emphasize. What if our lives, our growth, our expression are more like a fine wine than a to-do list? This is coming from someone who doesn't drink, but bear with me here. So in the last few days, actually the last few weeks, there's a lot of stirring up that's been happening, really since I came back from Nashville, really since before, really since I crashed my truck into a stone wall at the end of June. The gift that keeps on giving, right? So, I've been very, very aware in the last few weeks of what am I thinking? What am I feeling? How am I showing up in the world? What am I focusing on? What am I concentrating on? What am I expanding with my attention? And there's been a lot of darkness for me. There has been like way too much darkness in the last, since June, and really 2025 continues to kind of like, still the wake of it is happening in 2026. But in New Thought, what we know, and quantum physics says the same thing, that every now moment is a brand new now moment. Brand spanking new. The universe is rebooting itself in every single now moment, and because we are part and parcel of the universe, well then so are we. It just feels like we're on this linear trajectory, right? But every moment, brand spanking new opportunity to show up in a new way, to show up more fully as the love that we are. And so the way that this has been showing up or not showing up, or I'm being constantly reminded or nudged or slapped upside the head in the last week is I sat down to write some copy for my website that I paid for 3 years ago, but have done almost nothing with since starting at VTC because so much my energy, time, and attention has gone to VTC. But it's been like pulling at me and nudging and come on, get something done. And there's this big part of me, which I realized today, feels like I should have done it already because I paid for it and all this time has passed and blah, 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 right? And so when I sat down to start writing some more copy a couple of days ago, I was writing, I spent about 90 minutes doing it, and by the end of it, I'm like, none of this feels good. None of this sounds good. It's not me. It's not authentic. It's not relatable. It's not genuine. It felt hollow, and I'm like, I can't connect to this experience, right? So I had to let it go. And today I actually had to let my my branding person know it's going to be really slow going with me right now as I continue to try and put things back on my plate that I haven't been doing since before the collision. I keep getting reminders of, nope, not yet. Nope, too soon. And the latest thing that happened was a week and a half ago. Some of you know I spilled tea on my laptop. And this was just after starting to finally feel better after falling off this stage, which was just after starting to feel better after being really super sick. That's just, in the recent weeks. And so this is the body. This is the psyche. This is the nervous system saying, pay attention. This is God. This is universe. This is source saying, pay attention. And instead of trying to keep piling on the things because I think I should be doing them by now because enough time has passed, forget it. I just need to be where I am and do what I can do in the moment. And so as I'm, trying to do this website or copywriting, we're also in the midst of looking for a new place to live. And we just decided this a week ago. So if there wasn't already enough stuff that was going on, but here's the thing, and I talked about this last week and on Sunday because it ties in with my values. Glenn and I just did a values exercise with our coach a couple of weeks ago where we got clear on our values, and it was really, really, really amazing for me to see, and just like on paper, literally, how my number one value, which is integrity, because I wasn't in integrity with any aspect of my life, none of the other values could I sort of be in them, could I, embody them fully. And so the biggest thing for us, where we have been out of integrity for 3.5 years, is our home, where we live. It hasn't been comfortable. it doesn't feel good, and all the stuff that we want, a lot of it doesn't have. We appreciate that we've had a place to live, and it was something that came up when we had been looking and looking and looking and moving from place to place to place, so we really appreciated that there was finally somewhere to land. But, I mean, plants don't like it there, one of our cats doesn't really like it there, and it's just how much longer are we going to put up with this, right? Until it's like, no, something's got to change, we need to move. So we're looking for places to live. And even though we're thinking, maybe not for a couple of months, we're still looking, and I'm even going to see a place, or we're going to see a place tomorrow. But there's this whole thing about moving, and so energy is shifting, right? Like, told our landlords, didn't give official notice, but told them this is what's happening so that they're aware. I went and got 21 boxes from the liquor store the other day, score, and there's this big, tall pile in our living room right now. And we're doing this piecemeal so that it also doesn't freak out our little Yuzu, our newest cat, because she's a sensitive little thing. Anyway, so there's the moving, there's the website, and then there's this thing that actually brings me a lot of peace and joy and entertainment right now, and I realized today there's some really cool spiritual stuff in here too. Has anyone watched the show on Apple TV called Drops of God? Not one. Not my person. Where's my person in this audience? Okay, so it's a series that came out a few years ago. It's a Japanese, French, Italian project. So all of those languages are in there, along with English. And I love watching shows that are in another language. I love hearing another language that I don't speak, even though I do speak some French. But anyway, so Drops of God starts out with the world's foremost enologist, which is the word for someone who really knows their stuff about wine, okay, like is the foremost sort of authority on it. The guy in the world, the top guy with the biggest collection with like 87,000 bottles of rare, amazing, phenomenal wine, a beautiful house in Japan that is worth millions upon millions of dollars, his whole estate or whatever, like I don't even know how many millions of hundreds of millions of dollars, but he's died and he has bequeathed it to the winner of a 3-part challenge, and 2 people have been given the opportunity. 1, his estranged daughter, and 2, his prize student, his prize enology student. And so the show is about, the first season anyway, is about them going through these 3 challenges and who's going to win, right? And she was born into this. Her name is Camille, his name is Issei. She is French, he is Japanese. And so there's this rivalry between the 2 of them. And Camille, she is the natural one. She has this inherent talent and skill that she was born with, and stuff just comes to her. There's no skill involved. She doesn't have to figure it out. And so she feels kind of like a fraud in some ways, because it's just like, it's just a part of who I am, and I'm not really doing anything. But the thing is, because she had this fallout with her dad when she was really, really young, she hasn't actually drunk a drop of wine for decades and seems to have some weird allergy. So in order to compete in this thing, she's got to learn all of this stuff and be trained. Now, move over to Issei, who is all about effort and work and study and skill and just like learn. And so with him, it is all about discipline and all about mastery, and he feels like he doesn't have anything in him that is like natural talent or just inherent to his being. And yet, as they go through this process, hating each other at the beginning, but learning more about each other while learning about themselves, what they start to realize and what we start to realize as the viewer is that they both have things that, they thought they didn't. And then they both get to start to see and appreciate, the value and the beingness of each one of them as they work through this competition together. And so, as I watch this show, I also marvel at the beauty in this show, because it takes place in Japan and in France and in Italy. And there is so much beauty and artistry in there. Whether it is the vineyards, in the different places, whether it is the way that they describe the wine that they're tasting, all the different ways. Again, I don't drink. I haven't since I was about 25. And all the different ways that they just receive the wine, that they really lean into the experience, whether she's doing her thing or he's doing his thing. It is so incredible and elegant to watch. I just love it. And then there's the different languages that are being spoken, and each of them speaks more than one language, so they're like, blah, 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 and all sorts of different things from one scene to the next. But the artistry in there, which is one of my values, it just speaks to me. And so I love watching this show. It's so well written. The characters are amazing. It is phenomenal. And whether you like wine or don't, it's just like a really, really worthwhile drama to watch. So this thought came to me about how our spiritual growth is not unlike the way that they taste wine, that they experience wine. Like, you got to pause, you got to listen, and you got to allow. And so with them, like, they'll close their eyes and they'll take a breath and they'll pause, and then they'll listen for what it is that they're sensing. What is the berry? What is they're talking about, like, oh, there's pencil, there's chalk, there's lingonberry, there's moss, there's dirt that's cold, like this has to be from the 70s on the south side, facing side of the mountain, or what else. Like, it's incredible. It's so poetic and artistic. It's amazing. And so they're like listening and they're tuning in, right? And they're just allowing for what the wine is, what it's made up of, the story, the essence of it to come through. And that's the same thing with our spiritual journey, isn't it? At least when we become more intentional about it, it's not about forcing, it's not about chasing, it's not trying to get somewhere, it's not even trying to become something, it's just opening up to and allowing for more of that incredible, amazing awesomeness that we already are to come through. And the more that it comes through, the more that we experience it. The more that we experience it, the more we're like, I think I want me some more of that, So spiritual evolution isn't about becoming or chasing after something new. It's about cultivating access to what is already present. Like wine, potential exists, but it must be tended, aged, and developed. So the title of my talk tonight is Pause, Listen, and Allow. As we move through life, day to day, moment to moment, no matter what is going on, there is that within us that is always so poised, so calm, so pure, so powerful, and ready to be unleashed if we just paused and listened and allowed it to come through. Allowed ourselves to more fully experience it without chasing it, without forcing it, like me sitting there for 90 minutes trying to get this web copy done, right? Just to discover, not even discover, just to like really come to terms with, this sucks. This sucks because I'm trying to force it. I'm not just trying to sit there and allow. And you know what? If these are not the 90 minutes in which this copy comes out, that's okay. And that's what ended up happening. So, how often do we live our lives like Camille or like Issei, focused on just one aspect of us? Like, oh, I have all of this natural ability, I don't have to work so hard or try or whatever, but then maybe become complacent. Or I have to train, I have to study, I have to work really hard, because otherwise I'm not going to get anywhere. But then kind of missing just all of the sort of flow that is there and available that we can just fall into. Like those Nestea commercials. Do you remember them? Did you guys have them here, that iced tea thing? Okay. So it's up to us to choose from moment to moment to moment and catch ourselves. Like I caught myself when I was sitting there for 90 minutes, like, to catch ourselves. And, okay, wait a minute. I don't have to be this way. I don't have to try so hard. I can just pause, listen, and allow. And whatever it is that is mine to experience, it's going to reveal itself if I let it. So whether it's tasting wine, spiritual growth, or writing from the heart, we need to be present, we need to trust, and we need to allow what is already there to come through. A good life, like a fine wine, is crafted, not rushed, not forced, but cultivated, with intention, with presence and trust. We must stop trying to manufacture our truth or even our experience, and instead consciously shift to cultivating the conditions where the truth that already exists can be revealed. Thank you, and so it is.